Good day and welcome back to Elementary 72 Gaming. Now this video has its own special purpose. This is a video where I'm going to show you something. If you're looking at my income, you'll notice that I'm flying through Curse at the bottom with an Atron Interceptor, and I'm going to go through some of my funds. Okay, I'm going to stop here. Alright, now before I continue with this video is actually going to be discussing a portion of Nul Sec Ratting. This portion is also a part of Low Sec Ratting because it's special anomalies. Special anomalies go from scouts, inquisitors, dead spaces, all the way up to capital ship rallies. Now all of these are very spectacular. They all have their own special ways to be performed, and there's a ton to talk about when it comes to each one of these little aspects. You can count it as your own aspect. You can say this is good, this is bad. It's purely up to you as an individual. But let's go through my finances. Now obviously my finances are open to everybody to view right now. I don't mind showing this here because there's a lot to show in terms of finances. And obviously this video is going to be paused inside my finances at one point or the other, and that will be the end of it. This isn't a very long video because as I said, if you are ratting in Nul Sec and you show off what is in certain places, you can cause problems for alliances, especially the alliance you're part of. So Nul Sec ratting, you're not going to get to see that, and you're not going to get to see it for specials. Okay, here we go. 12, 60, 15, 79. Alright, there we go. Now, as I said, there were two, if you were in the Nul Sec ratting video, you'd know that there were two types of special ratting that I spoke about. The first type of special ratting was actually ratting with a carrier. Now a carrier is all about the Nul Sec corps. You need the citadels to get the materials to make your carriers. Once you have your carriers, you need your alliance to actually fight in an activity that has a massive pool. Now the pool that I'm estimating, by all means I may be incorrect, is 20 billion ISK, right? 20 billion ISK reward pool that comes out of capital ship ratting, which is the highest level. 20 billion, and that is straight up in bounties. On top of that is rewards in terms of materials, which can waver to up to 2 billion in terms of mats. So 2 billion in mats plus 20 billion in direct rewards. You can say what you want. There is an anomalous amount of cash for you to be walking around with, and if you put it in your pocket and you run around in in Nul Sec with the carrier, you're going to be able to pull that type of money all the time. Now, the one thing about carrier ratting, which is I'm going to count as special ratting, is when you jump into a small, medium, or larger T10 level, it's a single shot basically per most ships before you win. You knock everything out, and in a matter of 2 or 3 minutes, you're through wave 1, through wave 2, and through wave 3. Wave 4, 5 is down. It's been maybe 3 minutes if you solo. You jump to the next one, you finish it. It might even be shorter, to be honest. And by the time you're done with all of this, you have figures like 30 million is coming in an hour, or 40 or 50 million is coming in an hour, depending on how fast and how many you break. If you break every single small, if you break every T9 and every T10, you're going to get crazy amounts of ISK for yourself. And on top of that, there is everything that can be picked up. If you have somebody who's teaming up with you to break that up with you, that's another crazy reward on its own, because it's about, let's see, from small, I picked up 2 million ISK worth. No. That is underestimating what I picked up in terms of loot. I picked up almost, we call it the value. I'm missing this value because it's quite hard to just get it off the cuff. I think it was maybe 4 billion ISK worth of pure fittings, and if you count that into its resource value, 4 billion in resources, 4 million in resources can go quite a ways. And that's per small. So obviously medium is going to increase that, you might get something like 6, and large will almost double that, so you might get something like 10 to 12 million. And that's just in resources. So 12 million in 3 minutes, if you have somebody in a very fast, high capacity frigate, you just pick up everything, you scoop, and you move on to the next one. When that person is done with it, it might take them something like 2 or 3 minutes to move around and scoop everything. They jump from point A to point B, following right behind you. When they land in, they pick up all of the stuff again. By the time you go around and you've killed your 11 or so anomalies, you have a crazy amount of loot that's been picked up. That's to wipe out an entire sector. The respawn will start within a minute or two after that there, and you can keep following it for the next 15 minutes. So yeah, you're jumping around in an endless circle, 20 to 30 minutes. Quick and easy. So you smash everything out, everything is done, all your rewards are coming in. You've got this massive cash flow on the side, it docks every 20 minutes. So you're going to see the 65 or 75 million flowing in and out of your account. You can build a ton of small ships if you want, or you can just keep saving to buy your next big carrier. It's a special type of ratting. Now let's get into special anomalies. That's going to be Scouts and Inquisitors. Scouts and Inquisitors are another league of reward all to themselves. Scouts and Inquisitors can hold up to 40 million in terms of loot on the ground. That includes non-valuable and valuable, especially at T10 level. They're crazy expensive, rigs are crazy, blueprints are crazy. If you're getting a hold of this, you win. End of story. So you pick it all up, you build it, and there you go. You're winning at another point altogether. 40 million being made by you off the secondary part of that mission. In terms of bounty reward, it isn't as heavy as that. A single... Oh wait, no, it is. Sorry, I'm making a mistake. It's about 100 million for the entire Inquisitor. So Scout will be about 80 million at T10. By the way, I'm counting everything T10 because it's 2 years into the game. T10 is the basic level for players who have established. If you are under level, it's a different story. Obviously, you can't play at those levels without a team, and you need to be in a team. End of story. If you aren't, you're going to get way too little. You're going to feel underappreciated. You're going to depreciate your own value in the game. You will lose. So yeah, there we go at that level when we're talking about those two. Those two have those massive rewards, as I said, up to 100 million. Then you can escalate it one further with the Dead Space. The Dead Space debris can be worth up to 60 million ISK. That's because of the number of big ships that you're going to get. 60 million ISK in terms of drop and loot is quite a big thing. You get C-type modules, you get, I think you can get, you get faction debris out of them. That's also another crazy expensive item. Altogether, it's about 60 million in bounty drop. It can be quite heavy. It can actually get even crazier than that. You can get up to 200 million if you have a good enough luck with what is dropped out of it. And that is the luck of RNG. You can have all the way down to 60 mil, all the way up to 200 mil from a Dead Space. It's one of your go-tos for quick earning of ISK. So let's move on to the next part of this insanity, and let's get into the discussion of the bounty drop. The bounty drop inside a Dead Space can be anything from 100 million up to 140 million. So that is what the total bounty drop is. The bounty drop is divided by your team. So if you're in a 10-man team, it'll come out to 15 million. If you're in a 2-man team, you're breaking it up by 2. If you're single manning it, obviously you're in a carrier. If you're single manning that, then you get the single figure all for yourself. You wipe out whatever you need to wipe out. The problem is that you're going to have to chase past carriers and things like that there around. It can end up wasting your time. Okay, so that was just the basic of those small level special anomalies. I'm calling them small level. The next on top of that is capital ship rallies. You can say what you want about this, but capital ship rallies are your highest of your highest level. They influence the most when it comes to sectors. They are your bosses. They are the things that you want all the time. They have a total earning of 20 billion ISK in terms of bounties. They have a total loot drop of about 2 billion ISK in terms of loot. And if you are lucky, that loot can be all the way up to 4 to 6 billion in loot. So depending on how you gain, that is up to you to distribute at the end of the day. You need to go for it, you need to work on it, and you need to try and escalate yourself till you reach the right level to actually play. Okay, so moving on to the next item on this crazy roller coaster, the fleet compositions. You can do it with 2 carriers, you can do it with 3 carriers, you can do it with 4 carriers. If the carrier is placed outside of the standard range of the anomaly, so you jump into the capital ship rally with a covert ops and you fly all the way out to 350, your carriers can jump into that point and then they can obliterate the enemy within. It's their firing range. You're going to have fun with them. They're going to do a lot of damage. And at the end of the day, you win as a player. The game loses on that part of it. If you want to do it the more legit style, you're going to call a capital rally. You're going to need somewhere between 20 to 60 players to jump in. Obviously, as I said, 20 to 60. If you're going in with 60 players, remember you're breaking 20 billion by 60. That makes it less than 2 billion for every 6 players. And if you want to break 2 into 6, that is just bad math to do. So it's just under 330 million per person for completing that entire operation. The operation gets more and more difficult as you go down waves. I'd say that its average completion time is anywhere from 20 to 45 minutes, depending on your team composition, your player style, and the amount of damage you can output. Remember, if you're coming in there with 60 players, or even if you're coming in with 50 players, your reward really gets reduced. 400 million isn't such a small reward. Plus, as I said, you got the other factor in terms of loot, which can be as little as 2 billion in that situation. Divided by 10, that's 200 million. 40 million in loot, it works out to less than a dead space. But remember that reward that you're getting is something you wouldn't even be able to compare with a dead space, because when you playing inside the dead space with your regular ships, you're still going to make around the same tick marks. You actually make less ISK overall in that hour that you would be there for that entire activity. So yeah, you can take it whichever way you want to. So there you go, that's your crazy amount of ISK that you're going to earn for that one activity. Let's top that up with something else to go even more crazy through the roof. When it comes to these special anomalies, if you are going to rally without those massive teams, you're going to try it with the least possible. I think the least possible is a 30-man team. You're looking at a completion of an hour to an hour and 30 minutes inside there. That is what a 30-man team, and I think that is the lowest that you can go in. The average damage that a very tanky ship will take is somewhere in the region of 7 to 8,000 damage per tick. And that's because you are pretty fast and you are capable of evading most of their direct shots. Any direct shots do crazy damage into your hull. So yeah, that is something to be warned about. You're going to have to be in motion all the time. You're going to have to be unified in speed. Your tanks for the front are going to be things like nightmares, like Cyclone Guardians. Don't even think about Nova Guardians. They just will blow up with that type of damage. You're going to have logistics in there all the time, healing you, powering up your tank. You're going to need access of capacitor to help you, so second or third logistics in there. As I said, it's a crazy figure. 10 men of your 30-man team are just logistics. 20 men are just pure DPS. So you can go glass cannon on 20 players, and your central guardian can be your majority of your firepower. That is the way that it goes. Unfortunately, that's as far as I can see and as far as I can tell. So hopefully you do try it legit and you have a good time with it. If you do happen to be in an alliance with a carrier, or you manage to purchase a carrier from a neighboring alliance who you're on good terms with, you can take the carriers in, carry some players through with you, keep your teams really tiny so that the rewards stay big. Example, a 10-man team with a 2 billion ISK division that makes it so sweet, so easy, so fast. Uh, Wait, did I even get that figure right? I made 200 million. I might be wrong on that 20 billion. It might be 1.5 billion or 2 billion that you make in bounty and 2 billion in terms of loot. But please bear with me if I am wrong with it. It could be because I made a miscalculation and I don't have full access to all the calculations right now. I think I counted the number of individuals in our system and I divided the loot drop between us because I believe everybody was in, and I'm not 100% sure. You see, that's one of the catches. You can be not so sure about what you're doing. So yeah, that's the way that it goes. If you are going to do it with a person or two people from your entire alliance with two carriers, they'd be crazy rich. You drag in the two carriers, you blow up all of the ships, and everybody else sits around in pods and you take some money. 10-man team to keep the money flowing at a very good rate. You build them up, you go back, you get them in their ships, you rat, even if they're taking down 2000 damage. If they plan it on two separate sides, they take out small ships, you take out big ships. You knock out all the big things, they knock out all the small things. You meet in the center. They cut out maybe 5 or 10 seconds from your entire fighting combat routine. 5 seconds per wave makes a big difference for the small ones. For the big ones, maybe taking out about 30 to 40 seconds. You can get done even faster. You could rack in 3 sectors with that type of a team, and the amount of flow that you're going to get in terms of reward is just going to be crazy. You're looking at figures of about 6 to 700 million a day flowing in and out of your IS counter for the 4-hour ratting period. As I said, you can make something like 60 million an hour with the right team. I didn't know that carriers could be used in ratting, to be honest. I thought that they were capital ships for warfare only, and then I found out that they could be used, so I had to readjust that. So yeah, those are crazy figures. If you're going to hit special anomalies, especially, you're gonna stay in that 60 million to a tick. 60, let's go 60, 120, 240 million per hour. If you're counting that at 4, that's 8, no, 960 million. 960 million a day. Obviously, you can't do it every day. As I said, you're going to get a much lower figure, maybe 3 to 4 million a day. 3 to 400 million a day. It's quite a big figure still, nonetheless. You are earning a lot slower because of the amount that you're going to take on. I started at 7, and as you can see, most of these figures come from that. There's only 8 million that accounts for myself from all of this year. No, not 8, sorry, 16. So 220 million comes from Nul Sec. I was late to the special anomaly. I got to see it after half of the first wave was destroyed. Those types of things really impact how I play. So I'll catch you all in the next one. Have a great day.